Dave Chappelle goated, more like Dave Chappelle woted. Worst of all time, wote. Yeah, Dave Chappelle, if you didn't know, for somehow, he's been canceled again by the woke mob. Ooh, scary. No. So, if you've been living under a rock for like the past 2 years, then you don't know about Dave Chappelle, who, big comedian. I'm sure, as you know, as you've only been living under that rock for 2 years and not 20. Fairly well-known comedian who rose to prominence due to his race-based humor. Which nothing wrong with that in principle. I don't think there's anything wrong with his jokes, except that they're coming from him. Which, yeah. See, Chappelle's comedy has always been edgy, and let's just talk about his race-based comedy for a little bit. It's always been edgy and, oh, hello, hi. Yeah, his comedy's always been edgy, and especially like with the race things going, but he toned down on that a lot recently because he knew that it was like not good in hindsight. Dave Chappelle cancellation. Comics outraged over assault of freedom of speech after venue caves to the left. Whoa, crazy. A venue caved to the left? No. A lot of the employees of the venue just refused to do it. So yeah, let me just read the article and we'll get back to that in a little bit. Ooh, hello. Comedians were left outraged Wednesday when iconic funny man Dave Chappelle had a scheduled performance at First Avenue in Minneapolis canceled at the last minute after venue caved from criticism from the left. It's a direct assault on freedom of speech, Joe Piscopo, a comedian that said Saturday Night Live legend, told Fox News Digital. It's like Lenny Bruce in the 1960s, and they were trying to shut him down. Lenny Bruce, it's not different, Piscopo continued. Why are we getting back to those times when we didn't have freedom of speech? First off, that's not freedom of speech, but of course these people don't know. But yeah. Iconic funny man, put that shit on my tombstone. That's what I'm saying. That's what I should put as like my business. Iconic funny man. Chappelle's Minnesota performance was first announced on Monday, and tickets to the show sold out in a matter of minutes Tuesday. But some fans of the popular downtown venue voiced their opinions against Chappelle, who has been the center of controversy over his Netflix special The Closer because he made jokes surrounding hot issues of gender identity and LGBT community, which is where all of this comes out. Twitter explodes after Dave Chappelle show canceled in Minnesota. Totalitarian censorship? What? Crazy. Is Chappelle bad or good? I think he's a mixed bag. I think he's just a guy who kind of lost the plot on his stance on a lot of things. Dave Chappelle is not he's not new to like controversial comedy. He's been doing race comedy about like being black for years. That's like how he got big. But he eventually stopped doing that kind of comedy because at some point he realized, man, these people aren't laughing with me. They're all laughing at me. That's why he stopped making like black guy jokes, because he felt like these people were just making fun of him rather than like sharing a laughing, just a comedic experience. And yeah, fair, that's fair. It's a lot of people get, feel that way after a while. But it's funny because he, even after having that revelation and not doing that kind of comedy, he goes on and starts to do it about trans people and LGBT issues. And yeah, that shit's kind of, it's like, don't you see the similarity? And no, instead he's just kind of a more of a bitter old man. He's like, well, you kids don't understand comedy. I'm controversial. It's like, well, you haven't been controversial since like 2005, so I don't know why you're trying to bring it back now. And yeah, people were saying like this venue caved to like the woke mob and the left and all of that. No, the venue caved to its employees because a lot of the people there didn't want to have Chappelle, and so they just refused to come into work that night to set the venue up. So, yeah, and as a way to save face, the venue also tried to meet to the demands of the public and just get him out of there. So they did, and it was held at a different venue. So the show wasn't even canceled; it just moved venues. Which, if you've been in any kind of entertainment world, you know that's something that's not common, but it's not uncommon. You know, it's something that happens like a decent amount. You know, I've been to a good bit of shows where venues go from one location to the next, and like when like there's a few hours between the show. Same with like comedy specials, theater performances, art showcases, which the art show ones are way less common, but it's happened before. You know, all of this happens. You know, but the whole totalitarian regime of censorship of the woke left, yeah, what the fuck, Fox? That's not happening. I don't know. Dave Chappelle, I think all of this is a little more silly than serious, you know? It's the world of stand-up comedy. And for some reason, stand-up comedians have like the most inflated egos of anyone in this world, to where they get the slightest bit of criticism, they'll make a whole stand-up special called Triggered. You know, we know the meme, but it's kind of true because it happens. Like stand-up comics are just people, you know, they're professional funny men, but the minute you criticize them, they lose their shit and like make tons of stand-up specials about it, which is just it's more sad than funny, you know, sad to say. But hey, what can you do? You know, professional funny man Dave Chappelle, kind of sad. He's not really, but it's sad that people put this much effort into talking about it as a totalitarian left regime coming down to end comedy for all. You know, it's silly. It's fucking silly.